Okay, welcome in. We got a quick little race here tonight. It was a league race that I did for PRL Precision Race League the other day, Gt3 fixed races. We're at Road Atlanta, one of my favorite tracks, as you can probably see by the track map in behind here. But I'd been having problems with my internet service provider for the last week or two or so with upload speeds not being quite where I needed them to be. So didn't actually stream this one. Didn't actually even record it because I wasn't planning on doing much with it, but we ended up having a pretty good race. Starting near the front, as you'll see, an initial strategy was to tuck in behind the leaders, try and save fuel, manage the tires the best I could, and then towards the end of the race, make a move from there. So we'll see if it plays out. We'll see if I have to actually save some fuel and save some tires at the end, or if we're able to make it all the way through on our strategy. But it turns out to be a good one. Because I didn't have the race recorded and planned to upload it, I'm going to overlay the broadcast, and I'll put a link to the broadcast below where you can find the actual broadcast. You'll see the broadcast in the top corner there, and you'll be able to hear the audio from it as well with along with my end car. So hope you enjoy. Bye for now.
Drivers just about wrapping up their lap times. Only two more still on track, but they're way off the pace. Rob Campbell getting a couple more sessions as well. It looks like he is still in his pit lane, or at least in his pit box, I should say. 5 seconds left, and it looks like Jared Keene is going to hold on to pole position here. A great way to start his race in a season where he has not gotten points in 3 of the races. Heck, if he was in 2 more, he'd be able to use one of those drop weeks and still be right up top on the standings. But let's take a look at your grid. Jared Keene, as we just said, got the pole over Dale Peterson, the Canadian driver, in P2. Rob Campbell, Azrea Osborne will be row 2, while Jim Feliz and Jeff Corallo round out your first 3 rows.
Yeah, then we go to row 4 with Shreyas Vinkataraju in 7th place, Brett Thurman in 8, Tyler Graff 9th place, and Andrew Trickett in 10. Then that's your top 10. And rounding out the top 12 is Felix Feliz for SG Esports and Jay Steffi for Team Route.
We continue moving down with Joachim Bakker in P13, Evan McKay alongside another Canadian driver in 14th, William Fenson and Andrew Ellis round out row 8, while Rodrigo Morales and Luke Davis will round out row 9.
Yeah, then we go for the 10th row in this grid, which is going to be formed by, I think, Colin McKenzie and Waldo Walden, Buck Hamilton and Andrew Rasmussen in 21st and 22nd. Sully Saad and Alex Wright are your top 24.
Continue moving down to the 25th position. It's Neil Alexander for Parabola Racing Cabalt, while Christopher Rhines in 26th alongside Jared Deploy and Travis Pruitt, 27th and 28th, while David Morse and Robert Jeffries start 29th and 30th.
Yeah, we'll go to Ian Cabanas, Sean Mulholland, Joe DeWeezy, Ryan Luna, Nicholas Johnson, and Steve Bemmer are your 31 to 36 cars in the grid.
And just a couple more here before we wrap it up. Joseph Carnes, Kevin Berquist, and Brian Hoskins all the way back in 39th. 9-car field of GT3 machines at Road Atlanta. Pacing here, and I'm excited for this one, Lorenzo. Road Atlanta always is a treat. We're going to go through a full pace lap, it appears, and you know, it's not often we get a full pace lap of a road course race, but gives us some more time to kind of collect ourselves and collect our thoughts before the madness gets going here.
Yeah, it does. So we're going to have 35 minutes of racing, and this is going to be crazy from start to finish. We know draft is the key over here for you to be in contention to fight for someone or basically reward yourself on somebody else's mistakes. If you are in with outside the top 15, I would say good luck trying to move up the field. That's where the carnage, I think, will be, because you just have a clutter of cars. Imagine 39 cars in the track. That's IMSA level. Only IMSA, I think, has so many cars around a tiny track like this. And when I say tiny track, this is only 4 kilometers. So it's a small track. It can get very clustered with traffic as you go on lap by lap, especially towards the end. So should provide us an enticing race, especially if things get really, really close between the leaders.
For my fellow Americans, that's 2.54 miles, this 4-kilometer and change road course. 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Ha! Got you there, Lorenzo. Track temperature was 65-degree ambient temperature. It's 5:18, so the sun is starting to move towards the horizon, and it might even get a little bit darker as this race moves forward through 10A and 10B. The chicane complex coming up. It's going to be a action area here at Road Atlanta. It's a great track, great scenes. It's got great fans when you can hear them and see them. Always a track on people's bucket lists, and for good reason. These drivers come down the hill of turn 11 and 12 to get to that start-finish straight. Green flag in the air. We're racing here, heading into turn 1, storming into turn 1. Drivers pulling to the inside. The 93 trying to take the lead away. Rob Campbell has inside positioning, but he's going to be on the outside coming into the first part of the S's.
Yeah, it looks like Dave Peterson got a little bit lost on the entry of this start of the race, and lost about 3 spots already to everybody else in the pack.
Yeah, Peterson lost at least 2 spots right now, showing up as 4th in my timing sheet. But hey, from starting from 2nd and being back in a 4th on the first corner, not good at all. The 5 trying to find a way down the inside. That's Jim Feliz and Jeff Corallo as we head into turn 6. These 2 right-hand 90-degree corners, 6 and 7. Some contact. Oh, and a spin in the slow corner.
Yeah, I think that looks to be Jim Feliz actually got spun around in that contact. I think between 3rd and 4th could have set like whole chaos around the track.
Oh, it absolutely was, Feliz. That's a huge mistake. It's just a small error, but it compounded itself, and he's way back in the field in 30th. Continuing to lead this race is Jared Keene, but he's got 2 drivers right in tow. I mean, we were just talking about Azariah Osborne potentially having his worst qualifying of the year, and he's already up into 3rd.
Yeah, but not only that, I think he took advantage of the fact, like we said before, Peterson just didn't have the greatest of start. He was just way back in comparison to when Jared Keene launched himself into the final corner, and then everything else just ensues right after. You can see cars trying to go side by side into turn number 2 right there, or 3 if you want to call it. Actually, turn 3, and going side by side over there is never, well, good enough. You need to be at least one line following the toe of the other driver. Otherwise, it's going to result in chaos and carnage.
You're going to lose seconds to the guys in front of you and let drivers behind you gain those seconds as well if you try to go side by side. Here's a replay. Oh, there was some contact. Is that Jim Feliz?
Yeah, that's Feliz, but there was another car that got spun around. I think there was a BMW from what it looked like, or Porsche.
Yes. Yes, so Bacher, actually, there was some contact. I thought that's what happened to Feliz, but it was actually Feliz and another issue earlier on, as we saw, collision, and it actually happened right around each other. So here's another one. Travis Pruitt back in the 38th into the wall, slow corner, bites him. I mean, we talk about how these cars drive very differently to each other, and the Porsche, which currently has the 1st and 2nd positions in this race with the Audi of Osborne right in tow, I mean, there's a lot more oversteer and snap to it because of where that weight distribution of the car is, the fuel tank being at the front, Lorenzo.
Yeah, and it's a mid-engine car, so naturally it's gonna be more oversteering. Actually, funny thing, both cars are mid-engine if you want to think about it, because they're the Audi as well. The engine sits within the mid-rear portion, or you can even say this would be a rear engine car as well. I think this is one of the 2 brands, 2 or 3 brands that are rear mid-engine rather than front engine. But nevertheless, it kind of, you need a setup that doesn't offset the balance of the car, as Keene defends the inside of Campbell as he's going to try to go for a dive bomb.
I think this is going to be more of a, hey, try and defend the inside. I'm going to go back to the outside and get a better run going down the hill. It's working out in actually Keene's favor. I think it was a good defense right there, but it was a pop out from Campbell just to say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to start to attack. I don't want to go too hard too quickly, right? We're only 4 minutes into
yeah.
this 35-minute race.
Yeah, we haven't expected out of 27 laps around this race, so it's quite a lot. Well, given the fact that this is a short track for American standards, if you want to call it, but makes racing kind of interesting nevertheless. But looking forward to see also the field strategies as well as we see the sunset just blaring on your face just before turn 5.
That's going to get worse, too, as this race continues to carry on. 30 minutes of time for the sun to move even closer to the horizon. Look at that, coming around turn 6 and into 7. That's fun. That's exciting for us as viewers and commentators. It might not be that fun for the driver, as we see now in 37. Jeffries had a mistake. Yeah, got loose, some oversteer, and the job was finished around turn 12. Not much you can do there if you're right in behind the 803.
Yeah, was that turn 12? I think that was turn 1 from what it looked like to be.
Was it? Okay, I thought it was the final
yeah, because
corner, you might be right.
Yeah, because the way the car is kind of like going uphill, he's trying to get his car uphill, and that corner is kind of like you have to commit yourself towards the inside line and have a good run. Here's Rob on the inside. Dylan.
Oh, he's got this. He's got this position. Maybe, yes. It took a little bit longer, but he finally cleared the 222 of Jared Keane. Some good hard racing right there, and now Keane falls back to half a second behind Campbell, and Osborne smells blood in the water.
Yeah, but I think he's just playing, you know, the patient assailant. You know, he's just waiting for the perfect time to snipe and get these both. But the problem is everything else that is stood in front of him allow Peterson, Venkataraju, Carollo, Thurman, Graf, you can even say Trickett of sorts, to come in and make what was a 3-car train basically a 9-car train, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, this is a long train. You'd be waiting for a while if the train came through your neighborhood. Neil Alexander, another replay, went way too off the pace at turn 5, the end of the S's. Big hit into the outside wall. It might be race over for him, and it's unfortunate, but if you go into the curbs on the exit of 5, then you're almost completely toast, because the unbalance in the car, it's massive, Lorenzo.
It's massive, and no cars like to take that bump. There's literally none, and I talked to drivers that have driven around this track. They say the car doesn't like to go around that bump, especially attacking from that angle, but it is what it is. It's part of the track. They have to. They use it kind of like to set the car balance. Is a little bit scary. It gives you a little bit of yeah, you can see never settled on the exit of the corner. The car still basically nearly on full lock.
Oh, here is an attempt at a move from Dale Peterson, and something must have happened because the train is now segmented between third on back. 2 seconds in between the 8 and the 99 right here. I wonder what happened to get that big of a gap in one lap.
For what it looks like, Venkataraju and Peter and Peterson were battling for position, and they just lost so much time around the corner. Now here goes Graf on the inside. Can he take that on the outside? Now can he take?
Oh no! A spin, some contact, maybe. Avoids the barrier in the tire wall and gets back on track a bit dangerously, but at least off the racing line to get back up to speed. But that's multitudes of positions lost right there. An unfortunate moment for Tyler Graf. A little contact, but you got to say that's probably just a bit of a racing incident, and maybe Graf should have taken his foot off the throttle momentarily there.
Yeah, 100%. This is on Graf. Unfortunate to see Tyler having this kind of mistake. Normally on road, he's kind of a solid driver. See not only his performances here on PRL, but also on Lionheart whenever he drives the IR18. So it's a little bit odd for him to do that kind of mistake going side by side.
This isn't the first time that he's made a mistake. Currently running top 5 in the championship. But Graf also had probably not his most brilliant race back in round 3. He qualified in 9th, but if that wasn't bad enough, he continued falling back and way back and fell in the 30th 4 laps down. Part of the reason that he is not really in major championship contention, even though he's just 32 points back, right? He's you can say it this way, he's 10 points out of second, but 32 points back out of first. Another incident for Neil Alexander and another spin, some contact from 2 drivers in behind, but Alexander not hit. Problem corner, turn 7.
Yeah, which is the corner I expected to have the least amount of trouble. I expected like corner 3 to have a little bit of some trouble. We know 10A, 10B normally would be the problematic corners. I'm never gonna get over like saying 10A, 10B, but anyway.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it.
They're 2 different corners.
I know, right?
Big hit in the back. Cars spinning. Ooh. Flying smoke everywhere through the glistening of the sun rays. Oh, they're still spinning. This is a catastrophe. Colin McKenzie involved. Unbelievable scenes. We'll get a replay. Rodrigo Morales lost it, came back out onto the track. Cars just kind of blind corner, right? You're coming over the S's over turn 5. It's hard to see. And that's race over for a few of these drivers.
I want to look from the replay. All right, looking from McKenzie's perspective. Oh, nothing you can do right there. Boom.
It's hard to say, hey, you know, take a moment to just be careful of your surroundings. We'll watch from a replay. You see smoke. It's just, there's barely any time to react, but you almost feel like he throttled up right there, you know, to try and get through it. And I understand that. Big hit. Holy cow.
And that's just over the crest, so nothing you can do right there. Especially if you go over, that is blind, and that is basically blinding. So as soon as you get over the crest, you're only gonna then see what is like ensuing in front of you. So you have little to no time to react to anything that is happening in front of you. But other than that, it's unfortunate. I really would like to see from Morales' perspective. Ow!
Goodness me. And again, this is a driver who has had issues earlier in this race in Joachim Bacher, and oh man, oh man. I mean, that's a jump scare and a half.
There is a perfect way for me to say this, but this wouldn't be PG.
I mean, this is a PG-13 broadcast, but you don't get one usage of that word.
No. It's like, have you ever seen Dexter?
No, but I know what it is. It's a.
Right. You know what
continue. I mean. Well, continue. I don't really know what you mean, but I do.
Oh, it's the guy seems surprised and then follows the word.
Surprise! There's turn 1 coming up, and you're sliding
Morales.
through. Oh man, God. What is Morales doing? That's the second time that there's been an incident caused because of his initial mistake. Sean Mulholland was the one who was victim, and he just kind of gets hit from behind and hits the wall hard. And I mean, I get it, right? You're in the middle of the track, you want to get out of the way, but you move multiple times in multiple directions. Be predictable if you're stopped on track.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Like the first one, I could have given him the benefit of the doubt because, you know, the car just stabilized, stood straight, and I think she just throttled a little bit. But either way, it's a bad rejoin nevertheless. But the second one, come on, man, you have your relatives. You should know what's happening in front and behind you. There's no need for you to do this kind of emerging to the track.
Mulholland, from his point of view, not much you can do there. It's unfortunate. This battle on the cusp of making it into the top 5. That's what Jeff Corallo and Brett Thurman are trying to do. Dale Peterson currently holds it. But, I mean, he's trying to get away, right? He's trying to chase P4 down. We'll catch on board with Thurman back in 7th for SRT Blue. He's got, is that an American flag helmet? Or is that a Evel Knievel helmet? Looks like Evel Knievel. Is that Evel Knievel? The stars on the helmet?
Oh,
the helmet.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to look towards the mirror. Good question. I would say this might be Evel Knievel.
All right. I like that. I don't really know much about Evel Knievel. Educate me in the comments on YouTube, RaceSpot TV, PRL. Hey, if you want to get involved in PRL racing action, signups for next season, I believe, will open in the next few weeks. 4 seasons per year, around 9 races per season, and every night of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, maybe not every night, but most nights of the week, you can race in over 10 disciplines, 10 series that the PRL provides. And you can go to precisionracingleague.com for more info. And of course, make sure to follow RaceSpot TV on all your social media platforms and YouTube. Keep subscribed to RaceSpot on YouTube to catch all the live broadcasts, to hear from people like myself, Lorenzo, Arjuna Kenkipati, Joey Tebben, and more.
Yeah. No, don't hear from me.
Pit stop, Tyler Graff, remember, has had some issues in this race already. Maybe going off strategy here. Everyone will need to pit very soon, Lorenzo.
Yeah, they need to pit, and it wouldn't be a bad strategy for you to get that undercut. But the thing is, you cannot find yourself within cluster traffic, and I think, not a bad move what he did, even though it's, I don't know if they would, I would say call it early, but anyway, it's something. It's never late to try anything new. Oh, thank you, Dane.
Is this Evel Knievel, or am I just
hold up.
Lorenzo's gonna do the work. It may not be. Pass potentially for P5. It's made. Jeff Corallo gets by Dale Peterson, who has now fallen 4 positions in this race. An attack on the inside of 12. Not usually a passing zone. Oh, and way off track when Brett Thurman got back on. What a save. And a block down low and an attempted pass down the inside for 5th. It's getting saucy in Road Atlanta.
You got a little bit of an RG-bargy right there, but it's always good and legal, and Rolo made it work nevertheless. Yeah, and Peterson just not being able to cope well with the car during this halfway portion of his stint.
Yeah, it's Peterson. It might be falling away from him just a little bit. You know who it's not falling away from? Rob Campbell, who has led most of this race after getting by Jared Keane. It's been quite impressive. I didn't expect Keane to fall off to almost 2 seconds behind Campbell in around a 12-minute span. But so far, the top 3, they are very solid in this one.
Yeah, but there's a good attempt from Jared Azera to try to catch up to Rod, but Rod has just been consistent with like 118 mids, 118 highs, and being faster by like 2/10 of a second on average pace, or 1/10 of a second on average pace to Jared and Isaiah. So it makes the job of both the number 222 and the Enumbrate more difficult as we see more pit stops. Jay Steffi in the pit box.
Steffi, who qualified in the front of the midfield, if you will, is going to be in the pits right now. A few other drivers making their way down. Rodrigo Morales, we saw pit, but he's been in the pits for a long time. Regardless, lots of pit stops going to happen over the next few laps, and that's because these cars and in this series you get a 50% fuel tank. I should say 40% in fixed fuel tank. A pit stop is not mandatory, but it's almost always required. If one isn't required, then there's a mistake in the session, is what I'm trying to say. They must pit, but it's not long enough of a race for them to need to get tires, meaning there's no real disadvantage or advantage of doing an undercut or overcut unless you're trying to get out of traffic.
Yeah, I think that makes it a little bit more of a strategic call than anything else. Of course, this actually becomes more of an effect into the sprint series rather than fixed series. But even in the fixed series, official fixed series, which the PRL calendar is based upon, this can actually affect something. Normally, because the lack of clutch and coasting, now is only lift and coast for these cars. It makes the fuel efficiency for these cars a little bit more difficult. But anyway, it's still doable, but I don't know how effective that it will be in fixed.
Slower cars getting out of the way, but this is going to affect Osborne massively, trying to come around the outside right there of that lapped 54 machine Porsche on Audi Terror right there. Keen just scooted away by a second now over Osborne. Campbell is continuing to drive away, 2.2 seconds with 15.5 minutes remaining in this race. It's been good. It's been solid. You know, it's funny. We were at the Roval earlier this season in Charlotte, and it is a catastrophe to see a bunch of these drivers try to race there, as we see pit stops now ongoing as Rob Campbell is down pit lane, as well as Jared Keane. Isaiah Osborne will lead his first laps of this race. Venkataraju is staying out as well. So, a lot of the top drivers are all pitting. You see Fenson, Peterson, Corallo, Evan McKay. I mean, it's time. Maybe one more lap, we'll see Osborne and the rest of them come down.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see the rest of them come down. Everybody is basically pitting halfway mark into this race, which is kind of been a staple mark of this championship and also in the official series. To see everybody pitting halfway mark or try to go as long as possible, but mainly halfway mark, just to ease up on the stint and cool down the car a little bit, especially the tires after pushing them so much. But it's going to be making interesting how does Campbell and everybody else go out of the track, especially if they are caught with traffic that off cars that haven't pitted yet.
I really think we're going to see Osborne come down in just a few corners time. Of course, he's coming around 10B right now. If he peels to the right, yeah, he's definitely coming in right now. Yep, Osborne's in. Venkataraju will probably follow. I will be surprised. Yeah, it looks like big closing speed, and then it cuts to a minimum. So what is it? This 13 and a half minutes to go. More drivers coming into the pits. 17 laps on tires, or excuse me, on fuel that these drivers can go to probably. Rob Campbell coming out of that chicane onto the final corners. This could be a little closer than I thought it would be originally, Lorenzo.
Nah, I think once he comes out of the pit lane, the gap is going to stretch out a little bit. So
I thought it would be a quicker stop.
No, it's close. Because he want to make sure he's not, I think, overdo it or anything like that. He's just going and put on more fuel than Keane and Campbell.
Well, I'll tell you this, Campbell, his stop in the box was a second and a half quicker than Osborne, and Keane's was almost 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds quicker than Osborne. That's kind of wild. That's the gap between them right now.
Yeah, average has been around 36 seconds, give or take, for everybody pitting in the pit lane. Quickest one from what it looks like is Jared Keane, 34.7, whereas Osborne was the third slowest with 37 seconds.
That is a wildly slow pit stop. Venkataraju with a 14.8 second pit stop. I mean, drivers who did not need to have 2+ second longer stops had those longer stops. It would have cut the advantage. It would have nullified the advantage that there was, the gap that we're seeing on screen between at least Osborne and Keane. Look at that. The pit stop time. Look at Venkataraju. Corallo was 1.8 seconds quicker, and he was able to move by. Now Thurman, 2.6 seconds quicker. I think just passed him on track as well. So wild stuff. And two drivers who stayed out the longest just serendipitously had awful pit stops. And that's a dangerous maneuver from Campbell.
Oh, it's okay. It's have you ever ran around Road Atlanta?
Oh yeah.
It is just like that. Looks scary from the outside, looks scary from the inside, but the car's planted. It's so fine.
Well, sometimes.
Mainly when you're driving, that might be a little bit problematic.
All right.
But anyway,
Hey. I know that you did prove yourself to be RaceSpot TV's most talented iRacer this time around.
sorry, I am RaceBot finest. Get that right.
My bad. RaceSpot's finest, but I was one of the top 3 scorers, and I think 2 of the rounds in the bragging rights race for RaceSpot, with my best finish coming in the open wheel race at Silverstone. Don't ask me how.
I know, right?
Makes no sense. Our producer, Dane, is saying that he won Petit Le Mans in the
Good for him.
GTP category
Things like
last
that.
year. All right, bud. He just wants that recognition that we
Give him a pat on
always
the
like to
back.
give ourselves. We're giving him a pat on the back right now.
If he says he actually won Petit Le Mans with Lewis and Arjuna or someone else like Lewis and Cam, then I'm probably gonna say, well, that's actually a feat for you to win a Petit Le Mans with Lewis and Cam riding the car. That is actually a feat.
And that's like having a NASCAR driver be the 4th driver in a GTP.
No. It's kind of like think of it this way: you're Max Papis, Boris said, and and then you can basically Kenny Wallace driving.
Okay. I mean, we're going the road course ringers. Or how about the latest road course ringer who drives the number 97 Chevrolet Camaro for Colleague Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series? Shane Van
I know.
Gisbergen.
I know you're excited to see him in Daytona, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, well, I've already seen him a few times in the race
In
shop.
your office, okay, in the race
Yes.
shop, but I mean on track.
Yes, I am excited, and I am very excited to see if he knows the meaning of ARCA brakes. Yeah, because he's got a race in the ARCA race on Friday to technically be.
Are they still running the late models?
Are you asking if ARCA? The ARCA series?
Yes.
Yeah, ARCA Menards is still running like Gen 6 Cup cars and older models such as that, with these
Interesting.
ridiculous looking splitters and valences. It's weird looking, for sure. But it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This race and this battle has been fun. Dale Peterson is not having fun. His number is 6, and that's how many positions he's lost in this race.
Yeah, with, from P2 all the way down to P8. I don't know. At least you're within the top 10, but of course that might take a little bit of a hit on your psyche because I cannot match my qualifying pace. And for some drivers, this is actually frustrating. Not being able to hit that thing or not getting anywhere, like the car's behaving oddly or something like that, but even though you're trying your best and it's just not getting it.
Well, this isn't the first time that he has had a really solid qualifying performance. It is by far his best one, at least this season, as we see Steve Bammer bamming himself big time into the tire barrier. I mean, Lorenzo, there is missing the corner exit, and then there is just forgetting that he must turn.
Think of it this way. No. Think of it this way. If you want to crash out in style. Oh, what a save. Oh no.
Please. Did you say what a save? And not even a kiss to the barrier. Good. Oh, there's the kiss.
Definitely the car is not Felice. It's definitely Triste or something like that.
Well, he's trying to. Oh, okay. Please don't. Yeah, so you saw that little dip right there going up the hill from 1 to 2, and that's when the car got unbalanced, and that's where he lost it.
Hello there.
Hello there. All right, Obi-Wan. It's not the first time that Peterson had a great qualifying performance with a really not. I guess this has not been a bad race for him, right? He's only dropped 6 spots. He's still running in the top 10. However, in round 3, he started 4th and ended up in 28th position by the race end. Had a problem, finished not on the lead lap, 1 lap down, and that's just how she goes sometimes. Up and down season for Peterson, but a lot of highs that he hopes can make a little bit more consistent as there's 6 minutes to go. Battle for P5 right now. We also have a battle shaking up for 2nd place between Osborne and Keane as we watch from the camera angles we have scattered around this road Atlanta racetrack underneath the Moto Bridge. And this is going to be a big run down this straightaway into the chicane for Osborne. I mean, maybe not now is when you make the move, but the time is definitely running out as there's a big block down the inside. Osborne thought about it again. Yeah, he looked like he wanted to do it, but I think that hurt him more than it helped him.
No. That was actually really smart because you took away the line from Keane.
I just think that final move, I don't know if that final move was the best kind of look, but he's definitely looking down the inside again, making Keane kind of swing out as wide as possible. I mean, that's going to give you the best apex, but also you almost overdrive the car. You overthink each corner entry, and Osborne's throwing on the pressure to Keane.
Yeah, definitely Keane is not keen for this fight at all, even though he's trying to do his best to ride out the car and get to these final laps of the race. It's just that Azera is just attacking so aggressively the corners, just keeping up with that Porsche.
Question is Jeff Corallo going to catch up as well? 2nd and 7/10 back of this battle for 2nd. I mean, that would take a massive charge in the last 4.5 minutes of this race. They start to snake. It looks like the front stretch or the back stretch at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indy 500, but yet it's Road Atlanta as they charge into the chicane. Farther back this time is the 220 or the 8 of the 8 of Azrea Osborne. Jared Keane and that 222 machine is still holding strong with 4 minutes to go. We're looking at 3 laps from this point for Osborne to make a move.
Yeah, I think he's just cooking right now until he actually finds the spot for him to attempt an overtake with basically 2.5 laps to go. The thing is, once he makes that move, he has to clear himself and execute that move to perfection. Because if he loses just a single second, Corolla is right on their back bumper, riding their draft, and becomes a 3-car fight with 1 to go and nothing in. And people, they don't have anything to lose. I think Felice just had an issue. Felix, I mean.
Yeah, Felix, he dropped back pretty quickly right there. But you mentioned Jim Felice, who came into the championship standings tonight in 3rd, 29 points back. Here is Felix Felice. Boom. A little bit more than a kiss right there to that tire barrier. But Felice has had an issue tonight. Tyler Graff has had major issues tonight. They were 3rd and 4th in the championship standings. Does this maybe open the door up for Rob Campbell, who probably is the last driver in the championship standings who has a mathematically, significant shot at winning it? Osborne, who leads the championship, currently 3rd in this race, but all the bonus points, all the points from this race would go to Rob Campbell, who is driving a fantastic one right now. I mean, Campbell so far this season has 3 top 5s, but has yet to get a win, is on the way to do that right now. And the difference between he and his championship rival and Osborne is 2 for the time being.
Yeah, which is little to nothing as Peterson just loses 1 more position to Jay Steffi. I would say, of course, not prior to the start of this race, even Fenson in 6th place had a chance, or even Jay Steffi just running himself outside, of course, job points, counting and everything. But for basically Keane and Campbell, it's a really good race, and we're gonna see Sully Saad just basically driving himself into the tire barrier just outside turn number 5.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Saad drove into the barrier. Oh no! Is Keane... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I completely got excited for no reason. I saw a car going into the pits. Blame Dylan moment right there. Yeah, that's an oof. That's an oof. Minute 20 seconds to go in this one, which means we're definitely going to get 2 more laps from this point on. So an extra lap for Keen and Osborne to get to business here. And here's the thing, Lorenzo, as Andrew Ellis goes side by side for P10, trying to hold that spot over Buck Hamilton. Did it well for the time being. Gonna have to do that again 2 more times. Rob Campbell, who's currently on track en route to the victory, has only won once in top-level GT competition in the PRL. He's got 12 GT4 victories, so he knows how to win races. It just hasn't always come at the top level of the GT ladder here in PRL, but he's looking to become a multiple-time winner in top-level GT racing here.
Yeah, which is really good to know. You know, it's coming, that win is coming just in the nick of time, you know, and well earned for him, and definitely is going to put him well within the spectrum of, you know, of potentially top 3, you know, or even top 2, or being second place in the championship. Of course, drop points county, and like I said before, Graf, even though he didn't have a good race in some of the rounds, it's enough for him to, you know, have drop points available to burn. So we'll see how the championships is gonna shift with 2 races to go. But Campbell, what a drive.
396 drivers have won a race over all of the Precision Racing League's history. Now, of those 396, a smaller amount, albeit a significant amount, have won at least 2 races, 258 to be exact. However, once we get past the 2 race wins, it starts to kind of separate the best drivers from the ones who are really solid and can beat you at any day, but really the guys who always are looking to make big splashes and get big wins. Well, it looks like Rob Campbell is about to move into the top 25, a tie for it, 23rd, I should say, in wins with his 14th victory in PRL history. Campbell wins it, a dominant performance. It comes across the line with Osborne just beating out Keen, who made a mistake on the last lap. Keen, somewhere, some way, went off track and lost all that work as Osborne moved into second and Jeff Corallo into P3. The big story, though, is Rob Campbell, who wins this one, Lorenzo.
Yeah, great job from the number 93, finally breaking in the mode of, you know, winning here in the GT top tier of PRL of the Lunatic for sure. Team is going to be appreciative of the fact that he has won today, and like I said before, kind of intertwined, makes the championship more intertwined in terms of how the standings might play out once everything is done and dusted. But what a drive, and Keen with the massive blunder from second place all the way down to 5th.
Yeah, I want to know what happened there. That's a big mistake from Keen, who, I mean, was pretty much perfect. Well, not perfect, right? He got passed for the win of this race, for the lead of this race after qualifying on the pole, but as close to it as you could possibly come, and it just did not happen for him at the end. He still finishes in the top 5, but he'll be kicking himself. He would like to be on the podium. But Rob Campbell, of course, race winner. We're still waiting for all the drivers to come across the line and finish it up. Still, you know, drivers are right behind. We got to wait another minute 20 plus for them to get across. Yes.
Fuel.
That sunset. Oh, yes. Fuel. Is that the reason that Keen struggled here? Remember, Jared Keen had the quickest pit stop among all the drivers in that top flight battle, 12.2 seconds. If maybe he waits a few more tenths, he's there all the way. Let's look at the results real quick. After 27 laps is what we were estimating, and it's what we got. Rob Campbell in his Porsche beats the Audi of Isaiah Osborne for the win of this race, while Jeff Corallo will cross the line in third. Lucky to get a podium position there, but nonetheless put himself in the catbird seat for it. Venkataraju will finish in P4 with Keen in 5th. Fenton, Steffi, Peterson, Ellison, Hamilton, your top 10. We continue rolling on with the results. With P11 as Luke Davis and Evan McKay finish 11th and 12th. Tyler Graff needed a good race, had a bad race, but kind of recovered. So good work there, but it's going to hurt him in the championship for sure. Alex Wright and Felix Feliz, top 15 with Christopher Rhines, Waldo Walden, Jared Deploy, David Morris, and Brett Thurman, your top 20 positions. 21st is held by Sully Saad, while Brian Hoskins, Kevin Bergquist, Ian Cabana finish within a minute of the leader. Robert Jeffries, Travis Pruitt, Nicholas Johnson, Ryan Luna, and Drew DeWeese, your 29 lead lap finishers. Jim Feliz, that's probably a championship ender for him, finishes in 30th, while Neil Alexander, Andrew Trickett will finish in within relative time of that lead lap. However, Alan Rasmussen, Bacher, McKenzie, and Carnes had really poor races, end up in double-digit laps down. Well, I think it's high time we start talking to our podium finishers as we actually look at Jared Keene. Oh man, he's coming around the chicane, but you can hear it kind of sputter. And this is the worst spot to run out of fuel.
Yes.
Because you're at the slowest point of the track going uphill. And he tries to cut into pit lane. No, he does not. I mean, this is the worst spot, worst timing. If he stays in pit lane for 2/10 more, he probably finishes in P2. But unfortunate. Let's run into the race winner, Rob Campbell, who is no doubt celebrating his second top flight GT victory in PRL competition. Congratulations on the win, Rob, and just take us through it. Felt like a dominating day by you.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Originally, I was just planning to try and stay behind Jared at the start and fuel save, and he got a little squirrely a couple corners, so I figured that it was better to try and make a move around him, try and pull away instead. So we went for that strategy instead. Had to recalculate.
Well, you're still mathematically able to win this championship here. It might be a bit of a long shot, but relatively, I don't know, 28, 27 points behind Isaiah Osborne. We're going to gain a few more until Keene actually ran out of fuel in the final corner. So Osborne finishes in second. Do you feel like you have something to challenge him for in the last two races of the year?
Probably not. I was behind the 8-ball right from the race start. I was away on vacation for week 1. So that was my drop week right off the hop. And then I had a connection issue at Charlotte. So that pretty much signed off on my chances. But I'll give it a go. The best chance is to try and win the next two, right? Anyways, so we'll try and do the best.
You can only control what you can control, Rob. Are there any strengths that you feel like from these last two tracks in Okayama and Bathurst that you can kind of, adapt? And strengths at both of those tracks are going to be very difficult to find for most drivers.
Yeah, honestly, I despise Panorama, so
okay,
I'm not looking forward to going there. And Okayama, I haven't raced it in so long. I just remember it being really tight and slow corners, which generally don't play real nice with the Porsche. So we'll have to see. Gonna need to put some time back in and relearn Okayama because it's been a while, but we'll give it a go.
All right, Rob, congratulations on the victory, and hopefully we see you closing that championship gap down a little bit.
Thanks, Dylan.
Of course, Rob Campbell, winner of the race at Road Atlanta.